Maddie, what are you doing?
I was at the beach, but I didn't have any service, so now I'm on the back of my car. So
Uh, I was
yeah,
almost gonna be at the beach too. I was so close to going to the beach with my family. Didn't have any
really,
plans.
I spent an entire day down there. It was just gorgeous. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I was there all day yesterday. I got fried and
yeah,
cooked in the morning and in the evening. It was nice.
yeah. I tried not to get fried. I put a lot of sunscreen on.
Yeah,
So I hope tomorrow when I wake up, I don't look like a lobster.
you don't look burned.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Good.
try to
So,
sneak out and play some volleyball with a couple friends tomorrow morning. So we'll see.
oh yeah. No, me and my boyfriend, we went down the other day, and at East Beach they took down all the nets. So there's
I
no
haven't
nets,
taken
but
them
we
down
got
at the
like
harbor.
yeah, yeah. And so we got a string and we put a string across the two poles and we played,
Nice. That's awesome.
which is really good. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
awesome. Cool. Did you see that? Oh, me.
This is
I
Aubrey.
can hear you.
Oh.
What are you chewing on there, Lola?
I'm having some cheese and crackers.
Yeah.
Nice. Just water.
Right? They gave up 47 sacks last year, Louis Riddick. I get it, some of those were because Jameson hung on to the ball too long, but we've already seen a couple of tackles go off the board. It's understandable why they're nervous thinking their guy might not be there. Yeah, look, they're talking about it. They have to make sure that, particularly at right tackle, that they take care of that position for Tom Brady. Look, everything else is set for them on offense, except for maybe they could use another running back as well. But they have to prove their weapons. They have to get out and attack the middle of the field. Pretty set at guard and stand. They just need to take care of that right tackle position. And you would assume that they're going to
What an angle.
Louisiana.
Who's the best one left? Well, we've seen Becton go off the board. We've seen Wills go off the board. Somewhat surprisingly,
Tua went to Miami.
That was what they thought would happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turn it up. I think it's frozen.
Julie, you mute yourself?
All right, coaches, I might have been on mute when I said this early, but make sure you guys take roll of who on your team is on here and who isn't. So we make sure that the girls that are on here are being counted and getting credit for being here, and the girls who aren't. Okay, I want to get started, girls, because I want to let you go. I won't make tonight too long. Let's just call some people and get started. So, Julieta, I'm going to call on you first.
Call you for what?
Okay, Julieta, unmute yourself.
I can't hear you.
You got it?
so your sister is also on a computer in the same room, right?
Mhm.
I think that's why there's like a feedback issues. You guys
got
might need to share a computer screen
Okay, I'll give you a minute.
or go in different rooms. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Avery, I'll pick you. Unmute yourself.
I think Julie will be okay now, but you know, it's fine.
She still hasn't unmuted herself, so.
Hello.
Hi, Avery.
Hi.
Hi. So, give us an example of your kind of sample calendar that you're going off of for this week. What do you got planned out? How's your week going? What are you doing to keep yourself on track?
For volleyball or just in general?
In general, because you got other things that you got to get done besides volleyball, right? But volleyball should be in there.
Yes. So, I've been having school online, and I'm in a lot of AP classes, so I have a lot of scheduled Zoom meetings, and I have about 5 today, which is a lot. And I'm also like keeping up with like working out and stuff, trying to stay productive.
Do you have it on a schedule, or are you just doing it on the fly?
Do you want like specific times?
Well, kind of. I mean, that's what we went over in our meeting, was kind of setting up, calendar. Did anybody do an actual calendar, like an example of the week? Okay, Colby, show us yours.
Unmute yourself, Julie.
Okay. Mine's on my phone.
Okay.
And
So,
it has a lot of stuff on it, and it has like the whole day, and it's color coded, which I like because it's very organized.
nice.
And so let's just like look at today. I had workout, first one, and then I had all my classes, and then I have Zoom with club, that's us, and then we have Zoom with our team after. And then tomorrow I have the webinar, and that's it.
Good job. And that's a great example and super organized. And you guys can have examples across the board. Who's talking? You can have it super organized and color coordinated and all that. Colby, that's awesome. I am not that person, but that's okay. That's why I just do the simple thing of waking up and like writing down my most important things that I want to get done that day in the morning, and kind of just going in the order of what the most important thing to get done, and doing that first, and just kind of going down the line through there. And some days are busier than others. Okay, Macy.
Yes.
Did you have any ideas on how to design your environment better to get stuff done? How to make the stuff that you want to do easier and the stuff that you don't want to do harder?
Like to accomplish something?
Remember, were you there at the meeting on Monday?
Yeah.
You remember what I talked about creating friction for the stuff that you don't want to do and lessening the friction for the stuff that you do want to
yeah. Yeah. So mine's kind of like the same with Colby. With mine, I have like my calendar and stuff. And I feel like before I didn't have like I started the calendar when quarantine started, because with like my day, I just know what's going on. So once I started my calendar, that really helped me to see like what was going on through the day and like help with what I wanted to do and accomplish. Where if I didn't have my calendar, I'd like be forgetting a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh shoot, I have a Zoom that like I have to be on right now. And like that'd be causing like more friction on me, because I'd be like stressed out about that. And I'm like, oh, I need to get on that. With my calendar, I have like all my stuff laid out with what I need to do.
Does your calendar give you alerts?
Yeah, it alerts me like 30 minutes before.
Yeah, and that's using stuff that the app developers do on purpose to distract you, but then using it to your advantage. Because when they want to send you notifications, they want to distract you and get you to go to their app or their website or whatever it might be. So you kind of have to hack that by setting alerts for yourself a lot of times for the stuff that you do want to do, not just having the only thing that be on your phone. The only notifications you get are the stuff that's trying to throw you off track.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have an example of anything that throws you off track?
I guess like when I'm trying to go to bed, I get distracted a lot by Netflix. So that's kind of bad.
So how do you make that harder?
How do I make it harder or easier?
How do you make it harder to watch Netflix?
Just shut my laptop and be like, I'm done. Because I don't like watching Netflix on my phone. So I know if I have my phone, I won't watch it. But if I have my laptop, I will. So I put my laptop away.
Yeah. I do simple stuff too. Like I put the remote by the TV instead of by the couch. And I go
Yeah.
and I brush my teeth. And like somehow to me, brushing my teeth at night is the signal to go. I'm like, okay, it's official. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Whereas if I don't brush the teeth and I leave the remote by the couch, I will binge watch till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thanks for your input.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Ashlyn. Ashlyn Mullen, where you at?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, no video, just your name.
Yeah.
What did you think about the visualization stuff that we talked about on Monday? Did you think about a way that you could watch video or do a drill and do a visualization exercise while you're doing it?
Yeah. So me and my sister are doing like this video thing every day. It's like a camp for keeping track of volleyball.
Uh-huh. Can you expand upon that?
Oh yeah. So basically we just do a workout and then do some drills for it.
And so how do you incorporate visualization into the drills that you're doing?
By like can you repeat that?
I said, how do you incorporate visualization into your practice?
Like by watching the video.
I'll let your buddy help you out here. Maya, unmute yourself. Have you done any visualization exercises this week?
Actually, yeah. Every morning, my mom and I, we like to stay healthy, have a healthy mindset. And so I actually have like this whole calendar for like school and then my chores, and then I have like flowers and designs on it. And then we do visualization of like what we're gonna do in that day and how we're gonna be productive. And we talk about like either at night or in the mornings, like what's gonna happen throughout the day. And so before like last night when I was going to bed, my mom came in and she was like, remember you have to do your school, and we're waking up early to paint the trees, the avocado trees that we have, because they're gonna get sunburned. So, yeah.
Interesting. So you didn't do for a volleyball drill, you kind of, you visualized your whole day. So you went through your day in your head and you visualized yourself doing all the things that you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel like that made it easier for you to accomplish those things?
Yeah, it helped me like remember like everything I'm gonna do and like work on for that day.
Yeah, it's almost like if you visualize yourself doing all those things, then you almost have to do them because you already in your mind saw yourself doing them.
Yeah.
Right? That's super cool. That's totally like an unexpected way that I thought you guys would apply it, but that is absolutely valid. That's super cool. We could all probably benefit from that, including myself. Okay, let's see. Julieta, you ready to come back on?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a different one because we already moved past the calendar stuff. Let's see. My next thing was an example of self-talk that is helping you instead of hurting you. Self-talk is your friend instead of your enemy. So what do you think are some things that you can do with your self-talk to help you play better?
So every day, like when I have to work out, I feel super unmotivated to work out and like do volleyball drills with my sister. I like basically I visualize myself in the next season doing better than I have done like in the past seasons. So I'm trying to build my way up to like a better season, if that makes sense.
Okay, so what are you saying? What are you saying to yourself in those moments when you don't want to do it and you want to be negative about it?
I don't really say anything to myself. I either listen to music that like really motivates me, or I just visualize like me playing volleyball in the next season. I don't say anything in particular.
Okay. Malia Juker, unmute yourself.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
So how about you? What are some examples, if you're just being like honest with us all, like how is your self-talk in your head when you're playing?
Usually in a game I have really bad self-talk and I kind of like don't say like good things in my head, but when I really am trying to say like motivational stuff to myself, it's usually like having to do with like specific things I'm doing on the court. So I like tell myself that I can do that specific thing, because if I like just tell myself that I can do it, I feel like that kind of means nothing to me when I tell myself that. So I have to like pick out specific things that I need to be doing, and I like tell myself I can do those specific things.
So your self-talk is more like, I'm going to, it sounds like almost like control the controllables, like not think about the whole concept of playing better, but just saying, all right, on this next point, I'm going to make sure I'm going to do, these few little things that I know that are in my power to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great example of positive self-talk, because it tends to be when you get, when you think about the whole enchilada of playing better or needing to win the game, it tends to go negative. But when you get things whittled down to specific things that you're in control of, and part of the reason I called on you is I don't think it's a secret to you, but I don't know that everybody else knows, but you tend to be a more quiet player. You're not very loud or demonstrative on the court, meaning you don't have a lot of big kind of outbursts or anything like that. So I would imagine you are in your own head a lot, because you're not talking a lot on the outside, which means you're probably talking a lot on the inside. So self-talk is, I wouldn't say more crucial to you, but I would say like super important, especially to a quiet player who's going to be in their head a lot, and not kind of outwardly talking to their teammates. Speaking of that though, like what is a way that you think that you can use your self-talk to make sure you stay engaged? Because as a quiet player, any quiet player always runs the risk of not always being cohesive with their teammates, because their teammates don't always know what they're thinking because they're not saying it out loud. So is there anything that you think you could say to yourself, or ways that you could talk to yourself that keep your relationship open with your teammates?
Well, when I'm like usually having a hard time, usually my teammates are like telling me stuff like I can do it and stuff, so that kind of reminds me of like, oh, I should be like talking to them and like working out with them as well, like other than just like being so hard on myself all the time. So if that makes sense.
Yeah. What about you, Lexi?
Hi.
Hi.
Here, I can show video there.
Show yourself.
Yeah. Self-talk for me, or do you mean how I can improve my relationship with teammates?
Well, do you know why I picked on you?
Probably because I don't have the best self-talk.
You're pretty harsh on yourself, right?
Yep.
And does it make you play better?
No.
No.
Nope.
No. Okay, so we have to take steps to change that, because we don't want to do things to ourselves that make us worse. We want to do things to ourselves that make us better, right? So what are some ways that you've thought about doing that?
For me, I think that if I can control like the appearance and the way that I express myself on the court, then it helps my teammates as well. So just like reminding myself, okay, you're fine, next point type stuff for me.
I think personally, and Joe's welcome to chime in if he wants to as well, but having coached you, what, three seasons, 2 high school seasons and a club season?
Mm-hmm.
So I know that for me, an experience that I have as a coach is that sometimes it's hard to give you feedback. And it's ironic because I know you're a player that wants to get better, but you're not open to feedback when you're in those moments of being hypercritical of yourself. So anything I say in that moment is not really landing on anything because you're so in your head being harsh on yourself. It doesn't really matter what I say in those moments, or at least it feels to me as a coach like it doesn't matter, which is going to make me as a coach do what?
I guess pull me. I don't know.
No, not pull you, just not offer you feedback. If I don't think my feedback is going to be heard because you're in a bad mental space to hear it, then I'm not going to say it. And you may very well want that feedback, but I, as your coach, am not, not always going to be able to, feel like I'm open to give it to you, or that you're going to be receptive in that moment. Or maybe I do have to pull you. Maybe I feel like I have to take you off the court and give you a breath before I put you back in. Joe, do you have anything to add to that, or?
Yeah, actually, for me, what it really comes down to, we're talking about Alex specifically, but I think most volleyball players in general.
She's pretty representative, I think, of a lot of players, right?
When a lot of times I notice players do that, you guys do it. You guys oversell things when it's not that big. As human beings, we tend to make problems a lot bigger than they actually are. We tend to stress out a lot more when the situation doesn't require that to be. So what I've dealt with Alex specifically is knowing that she does stress out, but finding—
What? Why'd you leave? I'm in a meeting. What?
You're at the hospital?
Oh no, I said, wait, don't respond. Did you respond? Did you say anything?
Layla, mute
Taylor,
yourself.
turn your mic off. I turned you off.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think in general, a lot of the kids that do sports, you guys stress yourself out, and a lot of times it's not necessary, but that's a part of being human. For Malia, for Alex, for any of you guys that feel like you guys don't have the confidence, it really starts with just you. If you can tell yourself that you're fine, things will be fine. Your coach, your best friend can look at you and say you're fine, but if you're not fine, you're not going to be fine. So I think what Coach Chris is trying to refer to is how do you guys deal with that internal ability to be confident, or internal ability to say, I got this, or I'm going to motivate myself to work out today, or whatever it is. It has to start with you. If you don't want it, it doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter that your coach is going to pull you or not. You're just going to still feel bad. And that's the sucky part, is how do we figure that out as an individual? How do you change that mindset? So yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah.
I like something to kind of like bounce off of that. Can I say it?
No.
Please. I just I kind of had this happen to me today a little bit. I'm usually really, really good, especially as a player. I'm really good at, being maybe frustrated or like not playing my best and going like, no, I'm going to change my attitude. I got this. Then I'm just going to like flow and like get back in the flow of things. But I've kind of found that right now, like during this situation, I'm trying to do that. Like I'm trying to just be like, no, it's cool. Like I'm lucky. I still have a job. I get to be with my family. Like I'm so much more fortunate than everybody else. Like I'm good. Everything's good. And I'm expecting that to then make me feel good, or like make things feel normal, but that doesn't make them feel normal. So for me, I've had to like really accept what I'm really feeling, which is like, I miss everybody, and I wish I could go play volleyball, and like, I wish I could do certain things. And once I've like really accepted where I am, and then I can say where I want to be and how I'm going to get there, then like actually creating a line from like where I really am and not where I fake am to where I want to be is like a line I can actually draw. And on the court, it's a little bit easier to fake it, because usually once you fake it, like you get some more feedback. But I mean, we're all in this situation together. So for me mentally, that's kind of helped me figure out how to kind of draw that line into how I want to feel and where I want to be. And it might help you, when you are on the court saying, this is how I really feel. I don't want to really feel this way. How am I going to get over there?
Yeah, it's kind of a topic that we didn't necessarily go over in this past lesson, but that's kind of that topic of being able to be vulnerable with your teammates, and typically teams that are comprised of players that are able to be vulnerable with each other and be able to speak truth about how they feel and where they are tend to bond better than teams full of players who are just kind of trying to fake it and make everybody think that things are all right when they aren't. And the reality is there's no way things are all right all the time. And so that's definitely valid. I would, last thing I would just kind of tack on is going back to what I talked about on Monday about that notion of referring to your brain as the brain instead of your brain, and understanding how kind of all of our brains work and how we've kind of our society has essentially evolved faster than our brains have in terms of what we view as threats. So what Coach Joe was talking about, and just piggybacking on him, is how you guys attribute higher values to things that are negative than you do things that are positive. So I'm reading a book right now called The Power of Bad. And that's basically the whole premise of the book, is how we completely value negative things more than positive things. To the extent that if we expect a situation to be a certain way and then it ends up being way better than it was, we have hardly any takeaway from that. Like, there's no added points for it being better than we thought. But if it's worse than we thought, then it's like catastrophic. And I think that's what a lot of us do on the volleyball court, is and even in our daily lives, we value the negative things too much. And we used to have this, well, I'm sure coaches still use this, but we used to have this adage as a coach that we had to give our players criticism sandwiches, meaning that we had to give you a positive thing and then give you the negative thing and then give you another positive thing on top of that so that you could accept the criticism thing. But really the science is like, that's not even nearly good enough. We could give you 10 positive things and that won't even necessarily make up for any one negative thing if you allow it to be super negative. So it's kind of for you being able to just be aware of that. So if you're overvaluing, if something's really negative, step back and just ask yourself, is it really that as big of a deal as I'm making it out to be? Can I step back from it from a little bit? Are there any positives that I can take out of it? Or sometimes it's just giving a benefit of the doubt when it comes to relationships with your teammates and relationships with your coaches. Do you have to jump to the conclusion that your teammate meant that in the worst possible way you could imagine? Or could you give them a benefit of the doubt and think maybe they didn't actually mean that the way that I took it? Maybe they were trying to be helpful, I just didn't receive it that way. But just kind of understanding a little bit about how our brains work and how we overvalue those negative things. And I think that if you have kind of a conscious mentality of that, it's just basically like stuff will roll off your back a lot easier. And if stuff rolls off your back, there's no way you don't play better than if you latch on to every bad thing that happens to you, or every bad thing that someone says to you, or you perceive them saying to you, or any of that. And that obviously spills over into your life. If you go around thinking that everything that everyone says to you is a negative comment about you, you're probably going to have a sucky life. And if you go around and just take everything with a grain of salt and have confidence in yourself, then the people around you probably aren't going to affect you nearly as much, and you're going to be able to maintain your confidence a lot more. And that's super powerful. And especially as females, I think it's just, across science, you guys are just more negative on yourself, and you respond to, you tend to equate things more negatively just in general. So you have to know that about yourselves, and it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It just is it is thing. And be able to kind of trick your brain into being able to cope with that better. And if you can, the good news, that's the bad news, that your brain's going to try to make you feel super negative. The good news is that if you can acknowledge that and you can deal with it, you're probably going to be better off than a lot of other people, and you're going to be able to have success and excel because you can turn that aspect off, or at least put it to the side when other people can't. And it's going to help you push through moments that other people can't push through. And that's, you know, maybe arguably one of the best traits to be able to have to be successful in life. So anybody else want to add anything? No, you're welcome to unmute yourself and chime in at all, coaches.
We miss you, Sam.
Ew, I miss all of you.
Everybody doing okay? Yeah.
Give like a thumb version. I'm right about.
I'm like in here.
I'm like here today for sure.
I'm here today. I was like here yesterday.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
I'm like here today, but like average, I'm like, yeah. That's
Yeah,
good.
Lola, you're doing
Totally
good.
not surprised.
Good. Hey guys, I mean, for what it's worth, I kind of feel we're gonna get back to volleyball. So maybe I'm just like super positive, but I feel like there's a better chance that we get back to volleyball than not. And I see a lot of signs pointing to maybe the science that this thing is not quite as deadly as we all feared it would be 2 months ago, and that we could be in a situation where we're able to get at least back to some extent of volleyball. The SCVA is not canceling any of their tournaments. About half the qualifiers are canceled, but half the qualifiers are just postponed and not. Nationals is not canceled yet. So everyone's really holding out hope that we're going to be able to get something done. So you guys got to stay sharp, and you guys got to be ready to go. And if we say, hey, we're going to start practice next week, you got to be ready to get back in there. And it's going to be tough to do that, but everybody's in that same situation. So, you know, what does it say behind me?
Volleyball.
Volleyball. So you guys got to be ready to rise up out of this and be strong and be ready to go. So, all right. I love you guys. Tomorrow's meeting with Carrie is pushed back to 5:30 instead of 3:30. I put that in a chat out to all of your parents, and I sent that to all the coaches. It's not from 3:30 to 4. It's from 5:30 to 6. She had a some sort of like board meeting with her company. So so we had to reschedule that to 5:30, but it's I sent the link to your coaches, and I'll send the link to all your parents so that you guys all have it. All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, thanks.